All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on this call. We are going to talk all about IPAs. And I just put a quote on here because I love it. So I'm going to read it to you guys. You were born for greatness. Stay fiercely committed to and focused on falling in love with the process and ever expanding your comfort zone. The best part about this refining is who we become in the process. Let's do this. So IPAs, are income producing activities and just part of the process that, like, I love that quote there because it says staying fiercely committed to and focused on falling in love with the process, because this is a simple business. It's not always easy, but it's simple and the process is simple. And so if we just stay committed to those tasks, it gets easier.
Mommy,
Okay, so income producing activities, and the definition of that is a task that has the potential to earn income within a current commission period. So as business builders, there's things that we can always be doing to be busy with building our business, but not everything we do will be fruitful or make us money. And so it's important that we use the time that we have efficiently. So it's learning to take the knowledge that you have and make the most of the time. So there are we're going to go over some different activities tonight that are focused, that will produce fruit. And so it's easy sometimes to get distracted and to, get busy with other things. And so it's important to just keep coming back to the income producing activities that will bring fruit for your business. You have set aside to build your business by focusing on what is and what is not profitable. So the best way for us to reach our goals is to stay focused on the task. And we're going to go over some really good productive activities tonight.
Is this me? I put like a thing to know when I was supposed to share. Oh, there it is. But I have to keep moving like our faces around the screen so I can see, and then I don't see where my little thingy is. Okay, so we're going to talk about why IPAs are so important. Not the craft beer, but the income producing activities, although some people might think the other is also important. But they help move us towards our goals. They bring consistency and they keep us accountable, and they allow us to best utilize our time. I remember hearing this quote once about like somebody taking the steps to exercise, and it doesn't matter if you only walk once around. See, it's happening. If you only walk once around the block, like you've still done more exercise than the person that's sitting on the couch, because it doesn't matter how like in depth you go as long as you're taking those steps forward. And so IPAs really help just give you drive and focus so that when you actually do walk around the block and do take those steps, they're actually going to keep you accountable. They're going to keep it consistent, and it's going to make the best use of your time, because the time is going to pass anyway. This is our only limited commodity. It's the only thing that we can't get back once we spend it. And it just allows us to utilize it the best.
Okay, so there are 3 key foundations, actually I'll say 4, to this business: enroll, educate, and empower. And we do those 3 things over and over and over again. And so Hannah said this is a simple business, but yet it takes work. It's simple that it's repetitive. And I was thinking how, what you do to hit senior star, you're going to keep doing those same things to hit executive. And then you're going to keep doing those same things to hit silver. And in the center of this propeller here, it says hub, and that is the foundation of your business. That is you using the products. That is you growing yourself personally. And that is the foundation of your business. So it does take time to build your foundation, and then we enroll, we educate our people, and we empower them to share. We teach them to do what we do, and then it just multiplies. So it's a beautiful thing.
and it propels you to success.
Okay, so here we're going to dig into these a little bit more: enroll, educate, empower, and how to make these three things an IPA. So it's important to continually be enrolling new members every month. And we can be kind of reaching out and connecting to several different people at the same time, and kind of prospecting with several people at the same time at different stages of the conversation with people. So it's kind of good to multitask and be talking with 3 or 4 friends about Young Living. It's a process, and it's about building the relationship and the connection with them, before you really, I don't know, share Young Living or share your chemical-free lifestyle with them. It's about building to a relationship, a point in the relationship where you can then talk about Young Living. So enrolling new members each month. Then when you have new members, you educate them. You teach about the monthly promos. You encourage them to attend classes, and you attend classes yourself. So it's important that we be teaching our new members, but we're also teaching and learning and growing ourselves, not just personal development, but also product information and Young Living information, seed to seal. So when it comes to educating even ourselves, Young Living University in our virtual office is a really great resource to learn about Young Living. Learn about seed to seal, learn about the farms, learn about their practices, learn about the oils. There's just so much in there. So if you haven't tapped into that resource yet, it's actually under member resources in your virtual office, Young Living University. That will boost your confidence in Young Living and in their products so that you can turn around and share that with your people. So you attend classes, you encourage your new members to attend classes, you are learning more yourself. And one thing I find people like to see is, what are you ordering in your monthly order? What are you ordering in your ER every month? And to share that with your team and to share it in the groups. And then we empower our members. We comment on team members' posts. We get engaged in the Facebook groups, engaged in social media. We talk about our goals and be really present in and active in the groups, in the classes, with the team. And that's the fun part about this, is we are not on this journey alone. We are a team. We're all working together. We're building and generating a community of like-minded people who want to do better because we know better. The more we learn, the more changes we make in our life. And we aren't doing that alone. We're all walking this journey together. And so when you plug people into that community, we live in a day where people are really looking for connection. And we can really find that in our team and in the community, our oily communities, which is amazing.
Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about IPA scheduling. So, it's happening again. So there are different outlines for actually organizing your IPAs. So there's IPAs that you're going to be wanting to do every single day consistently. There's some that you only need to do like weekly, some that you need to do monthly or twice a month, that sort of thing. And so if you actually can write it down and outline into an organized form, which ones are pressing for daily, which ones are weekly, which ones are monthly, then it just helps you be a little better prepared. Like, I do better if I make to-do lists. I'm better prepared when I write things out. And so just having them actually written down in front of you really helps you organize. So we're going to talk a little bit about just examples of some that are daily, some that are weekly, some that are monthly. So every single solitary day, you want to be doing personal development, whether that's, listening to an audiobook or a podcast or reading books about personal growth or leadership or friendship. Or one of my favorite personal development books is How to Win Friends and Influence People. It was written in like the 30s, and it's just like how to be a good person, basically. But just some type of personal development. You want to be finding new prospects every single day. And that doesn't mean like chasing down people or talking about Young Living, just creating new relationships with people. Talking to the moms when you're all sitting around watching your kids do gymnastics, or actually talking to the ladies that are in your Bible study group, or just making connections with new people every day. I remember Melissa Pepping said once, she was like, every single room that I go into, I act like the mayor. I say hello to everybody like I'm the mayor. I walk into a restaurant and greet strangers at the tables like I'm the mayor, and just try and continually make connections with people, because people are attracted to friendliness and warmth. And so just if you can present that and emit that and like be that for people every single day, then those people turn into prospects as you build those relationships with them. Other things to do every day: educate and inspire members that you already have on your team. So whether that's through a social media post, which is the next one, or like in your Facebook groups, just literally sitting next to somebody and putting on lip balm, and they see you putting the lip balm on and then saying how much you love it. And just every single solitary day trying to educate and inspire people. Posts on social media, that doesn't have to be oily necessarily. It can be an engaging post. Like today I posted, what's something boring about you? Like, because people are always like, what's something that you've done that nobody else has ever done before, or whatever. But I was like, just tell me something actually boring. And so somebody was like, I can't crawl into bed unless my bed's made. So I even have to make it before I crawl into it. Or somebody was like, I forget, like, I love pickles, but I hate relish. And just like these weird random things, but it creates engagement on your social media. And when people do post on your social media or in the comments, always respond to them, always make people feel loved and seen and important. But just engaging on social media and creating those engaging posts is super fun. And it's a great way for people to connect with you. Learn about a new product every day. Just like how Rebecca said in Young Living University, just be educated on our products. And write down things that you're grateful for every day, whether you do that in the morning or when you go to bed. Just spending that time in reflection and just thinking about things that you're grateful for, because what you focus on expands. And so when you get in the habit on focusing on good things expand. So those are daily IPAs. We actually have a giant list of IPAs Rebecca and I made that we'll show you after, but those are just ones that I think are important to do every day. So weekly, so these are ones you don't always have to do. Just check in with your new members from this month, from last month, see how they're doing, if they have any questions, if they want you to go over the kit with them. Continue to be active in your Facebook groups and in the team Facebook groups. Just showing up helps you create community with other people and gain knowledge and fun and all the things. So just showing up for people. Educate and inspiration on social media or in person. So the post I made, or the thing about posting on social media every day, doesn't have to be oily, but once a week, post something educational or inspirational that actually stirs people's hearts or their minds or draws them towards oils. And plug in new members to our education and community. So even in our Facebook group and Jolene's Facebook group and all the groups up the line, Adam, just plugging people into those communities. There's so much education there and classes and like albums and learning, and they might be there to learn. They might be there to ask questions. They might just be there to find friends. And so plugging them into our community is something that you should be on top of every week, 2 weeks when you check in with your new members. Monthly, it is important to set goals for the month. What you want your OGV to look like, what you want your ER percentage to be, how many new members you want to see added to your team that month, that sort of thing. Just writing out goals is important to do every month. Announcing monthly promos. So what the promos are, announce them to your members, send them a text letting them know. If you have a team of 5 people, you can reach out to them all individually. If you have a team of 500 people, maybe you put it in a newsletter, or maybe you put it in a Facebook group, or that sort of thing. Scheduling classes is important to do every month. And then at the end of the month, it's important to go back and find money missers. So that's people that have like enrolled somebody or have OGB but haven't placed an order. So they won't actually collect their commission. So it's important to go through and find those people. Check whose ERs have errored. A lot of times somebody's credit card's expired and they don't know it, and they're actually waiting for their order and they don't know that it's errored. So it's important to just run those reports in your virtual office at the end of the month. Those are some IPAs.
So this is an example of a month's IPA. So beginning at the month, you know, the IPAs at the beginning are going to be different from the middle and different from the end. So here's some examples. On the first, you send out a newsletter. On the second, you set your monthly goals. And your goals are going to change every single month. So it's really important to revisit that. And when I'm thinking about goals, I'm thinking about what is the next rank I'm working towards and what do I need to do to get there? And then I also look down at my team and I say, okay, who's close to ranking up or who is pushing for goals? What can I do to help them get there? And we also have the silver bound bonus to consider when we're setting our goals. If you want to track that, I don't know if you're sure where to find that, but it's in your virtual office on your dashboard. You go to Silverbound and it shows you your deadline. It shows you the details, shows you what you need and how to set those goals. Schedule your classes for the month. Maybe you have a night of the week that works best for you. That's what we like to do. Monday nights are our class night here, or in the co-op. Thursday every other week is our business meeting. So consistency is key when it comes to setting classes for the people on your team so that they become familiar with the routine. Make a list of people that you know. I'm not going to go through all of these because Hannah and I are going to go through some later on, but this is an example. If you want to take a screenshot of this IPA calendar, we're going to give you a template that you can print and fill out your own IPA calendar for the rest of this month. And then for me, I like to also print it the month out, the calendar, and be writing in it. I'm a person who also needs to make a list and write things down. And so this calendar is a great idea for me as well. So a couple things to make sure you get in there are coffee dates, play dates, lunch dates, just all about connecting with people and, you know, being there for the people that are already on your team. So take a picture of this if you haven't already. It's a really good one. We can also share it in the messenger group after. So okay, so this is the blank one. So we'll also, you can take a picture of this, or we will share the graphic for this for you to print it out, and or go online, print one out, and really fill it in. Decide what nights work well for you for classes. When do you like to connect? Sometimes we feel better in the morning to have connection with people. Sometimes it's in the afternoon. Find the time that works for you and set a date. And also decide who it is you'd like to connect with and make those connections happen.
Oh my gosh, I was muted that whole time. Okay, cool. So here is a list of some IPAs that we came up with. So I'll kind of touch on most of them, but if you guys want to take a screenshot of this, just have it for your own use, or you can add to this. These were just ones that we were thinking of. So giving people samples when they need it. One thing I love to do is comment on non-oily people's Facebook accounts. So what I do here is I literally will go to my friends list and I'll go through it, think about people who, you know, I haven't connected with in a while, people I knew would be blessed by Young Living, or somebody who I think would love the business, or just something I think they could use Young Living. And so I'll actually go onto their Facebooks and start commenting on their photos or commenting on their posts, because Facebook does this thing where it only shows people in your newsfeed that you're currently active with. And so I have friends on my friends list that I haven't seen a single post from them in like 5 years, because Facebook doesn't show me their posts. Facebook only shows you the ones that you're connecting with. So I'll intentionally go into my friends lists, comment on people's pictures, send them personal messages, nothing to do with oils, just showing up on their feed, so that means they'll start showing up in my news feed, and that means that I'll start showing up in their news feed. So when I do share a story about an oil or about a starter kit or something that has to do Young Living related, I know that they're going to see it, because I've already done all the commenting on their feed consistently and started building that relationship to flip the Facebook algorithm so that I'm going to show up in their feed too. So it doesn't really seem like an IPA to just scroll through Facebook and comment on people's photos. But if you're intentionally doing it so that you know it'll flip those algorithms so people will start seeing your feed, then it technically counts as an IPA. So listening to podcasts and audiobooks, something that we should consistently do for our personal growth. Scheduling classes. Post a story about a product you love. So I don't like posting like, oh, Copaiba has, 33% beta caryophyllene, and so this is why you need it. People don't care. People care like, oh, I had a toothache and I put Copaiba on my jaw and it made it go away, because people like stories that they can relate to, things that are relatable. So when you post about a product that you love, post a story behind it, why you love it, how you're using it, so that people can feel that connection with you, that authenticity, and actually learn from your story. An IPA is write a list of people you want on your team. Just write out those people that you dream about, people that are on your chicken list that you're too chicken to ask about Young Living. It's just important to write all those down. It helps you focus on who you want to talk to, who you want to find on your Facebook list, and that sort of thing. Sending happy mail. So just letters, kind letters, thinking of you letters, just to build connection with people in relationship. Like Rebecca said, sharing your monthly order, taking time to think over your team and spend time praying over your team is an amazing IPA. Running reports in your virtual office, who's missed their ERs, who skipped their ERs, who's at 0 PV. Just running all those different reports helps you know where you need to put in some work and talking to people. I think it's important to take the color test to know what your personality is and how you come across to people. If you don't know what the personality test is, it's just a color test by a guy named Jacob Adamo. And it just kind of shows what drives people. So there's 4 personalities. There's yellow, green, red, and blue. And like acts of service and serving people are yellow. That drives yellow people, who they can help, how they can inspire, who they can impact. Reds are all about goals and drive and focus. Blues are all about fun and excitement and positive energy and all those things. Green is about stats and numbers and like the science behind things and actually like doing the research and knowing the things, whereas a blue would never know the things. They're just there if something's fun. And so it's important to know what your color is first and foremost, so that you know how you're presenting to people. But it's also important to know the colors of the people that you're speaking to and sharing with, so that you'll know what actually is going to speak to them. Hey, what's up?
Can I go on your cover?
Absolutely. Because I even was like, I think I've talked about this before, listening to that podcast about the lady who was sending a message to everybody about how, she was so happy to be traveling with her grandson and have that financial freedom. And she had sent that to like a 20-year-old who doesn't care about the financial freedom of traveling with her grandson. She cares, about being able to work from a laptop, or I don't know, that sort of thing. So it's important too to recognize and know your audience, who you're sharing to, which is what building relationships helps you do. Using your products, having personal stories about your products makes you able to share authentically. Honing your story. This one is huge. And actually, Rebecca and I have spent a lot of time doing this and whittling it down and videotaping it and sending it to each other and hearing responses. So if someone asks you, like, what do you do for a living? You need to be able to answer them as quickly as an elevator ride. And so, you know, why you do Young Living, what your pain points are, how it has like been a positive turn in your life, and some type of impactful invite at the end. And so just honing your Young Living story down into like a bite-sized tale is important. Nailing down your why is important. Being coachable. I put that on there just because it's important. Printing out a Facebook list and highlighting non-members, following up with prospects, setting goals and gratitude, sharing oily testimonies, giving away a product for someone who has a specific issue or need, which is like giving away a sample, creating a reward and telling your friends about it. Like, we'll even Young Living this month is giving away hand soap for anybody who buys a starter kit on ER. And so they already created the award or reward. You just have to tell people. Joining groups or community groups, Facebook groups, anything to expand your network. Writing out goals for your team, defining what your brand actually is, making to-do lists, connecting with people on your team, taking time for personal development, being passionate about your products, loving on everybody around you. I'm reading a book right now by Bob Goff, and it's called Everybody Always. And it's literally just how to love people better. And I think it's just really important to learn how to love and make everybody feel warm and important and all those things. Reading an article a day about wellness. So we are in a wellness company. And so I think it's just important, whether it's like about chiropractors or whether it's about nutrition or diets or anything, just being up to date and knowledgeable about health and wellness, I think is important. Keeping your priorities in line, which is why the IPAs are so handy. Keeping your positive pants on. Might not sound like an IPA, but it really is, because if you don't have your positive pants on and something bad happens, you're going to waste a lot of time sitting in that down ditch. Whereas if you have your positive pants on, you're like, okay, let's keep going. Following through with your commitments, booking coffee dates, trying new products, making notes in your phone. This one is huge. This is something I did right out the gate. There are a lot of questions that you are going to get from people like, are oils safe to use around cats? How do I sign up on Essential Rewards, or what is it? What are the steps to enrolling as a new member? I can't even think of some. Just like random questions that people ask you all the time. If you actually pre-type out answers, save them in the notes in your phone, it will save you so much time in the long run, because when someone asks you that question, you can just copy it, paste it over here, tweak it a little bit for that person's specific question, and then you already have it sent off. And so I actually have notes in my phone for questions like that. Or like, I don't know, tell me about thieves. What's thieves good for? Or what do you like, what's your favorite oil in the starter kit? Or something. Like, I have all those pre-canned answers, just because it saves time in the long run, because after doing this for years and years, you get asked the same questions a lot. And so it's handy to have them already done. Hang on 1 second. Okay. Oh, whoops. This is always in the way. Okay, so here are just some ideas for social media, because it's COVID, because we're home a lot, because it's the way that we're connecting with people. It's through social media. So here's just some ideas about how to connect on social media or how to grow. So posting a product testimony, which we already talked about, and share it from a story kind of angle. And it's really important if you can include whatever your pain point was, like, you know, I couldn't breathe, or I had a headache, or I hadn't been sleeping, I have anxiety, like whatever you're actually using the oil for, that someone else can relate to, and how it helped you. Because when people can feel connected to you and like you, they're more likely to trust you and follow your judgment. So you can ask an engaging question, just to actually bring people to your page and increase, like, the more action and activity on your feed, the more Facebook is going to show your feed to people. So if you ask engaging questions, it pulls more people to your feed, and then Facebook will show you to more people. Posting a good thing about a real life struggle. So people love positivity. People love goodness and light. It is so dark on social media right now. Everybody is fighting. I am one, I will admit, I do read comments and sit and watch people fight, which I shouldn't, but it's happening right now on social media. And so I think it's really important that we are the light bringers. We are the good that people see. We are the breath of fresh air that people need. And so if you can post a good thing about a struggle that you've gone through, it not only lets other people know that if they have that struggle, they can get through it too, but it's just a good way to put light and positivity out there, because people need that right now. People are seeking that out. And if you do that, then they'll seek you out more. Writing something you love about this season. It's changing into fall. So if you write a post about why you love fall, again, it's lovely. It's light. It's positive pants. People enjoy that. Writing a post about someone who's been amazing lately, just shouting out someone who you want to honor is huge, and it makes them feel loved and important. And it's just nice, everybody. Give something away on social media. People love giveaways and free things. Do something scary and share about it. Share what oils you're using daily, or what you're diffusing that day. Just like infusing Young Living into your everyday life. So I put 4-2-1 on there because I don't like feeling salesy. I don't like people who do network marketing in like a gross, icky, salesy way. Just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. And I don't like that. I don't like it when they act that way towards me. I don't want to act that way towards anybody else. And so I try to follow the 4-2-1, I don't know, pattern or whatever you call it, method. Because that's 7. There's 7 days in the week. If you're posting every single day, 4 of your posts, it's better if it's just about you, about your family, about things you love, just not oils or salesy or something, just real life. Let people in, let people know what you're doing, what you're up to. 2 posts, do the same thing, like what you're doing, what you're up to, but have oils infused into it somehow. So like if I was to post a picture of myself here with our fridge, there's oils here in the background. And so I'm not talking about it. I'm not like, oh, there's oils here in the background. I'm just showing that Young Living is infused into my life in our photos and whatever. Like if I take a picture of our kitchen counter, you'll see thieves everywhere. And so I'm not talking about thieves, but it allows people to see that we use thieves. And then 1 post a week can be like, boom, Young Living. Here's a Young Living sale. Here's what's going on in Young Living. Here's a story about how Young Living has, I don't know, changed my life. That's your testimony post. But just so that it's not all the time and in people's faces. You don't want to be like a Young Living robot. You want to be real. I wanted to talk a little bit about hashtags. So hashtags are really more relevant on Instagram than Facebook. So if you don't use Instagram, then just bear with me for a second. But hashtags are a way to connect with people, to find people with like similar interests. And so if you can research hashtags of things that you're interested in, of things related to your posts, and then add them to your photos on Instagram, then it's a way for people to find you and connect with you. And on an Instagram post, you can put 30 hashtags. On an Instagram story, you can put 20 hashtags. And I put hashtags in my stories, but I hide them. So you can like make your words on your stories whatever size you want. So I'll just shrink it until it's like a teeny little dot on the page. And then it actually is filled with hashtags, but people have no idea. And so even in the comments on my Instagram posts, I'll post my photo, I'll post the description, and then I'll put the hashtags in the comments. I'll put 5 bullets, like bullet, enter, bullet, enter, bullet, enter. and then I'll put the hashtags, and it can be whatever you are interested in. It's better if it doesn't have more than like 500,000 uses already, because if it has a ton, nobody's going to see it. Everybody's using that hashtag, and your pictures are just going to get lost. So anywhere from like, I don't know, some people say 20,000 to 50,000. Some people say 200 to 400,000, but just any more than 500,000, guaranteed it's going to be lost. And so if you can find hashtags that are used like 20,000 times, then you know people are using that hashtag, but not enough that it's going to get flooded. And so mine are all different. It depends on my posts. Sometimes it's like crunchy mama or holistic living or natural living or mom of 5, or just like all different things that relate to us and my photos. But research them. You can search hashtags on Instagram, find related ones, and then I actually save them in my notes. So if I post an inspirational quote, I have a set of hashtags that go underneath of it. If I post about oils, I have a set of hashtags that go underneath of it. If I post about like houseplants, I have a set of hashtag flaunt your leaves, like all these houseplanty hashtags that go underneath. And so it's just a way to increase your audience and draw people to your feed. And I already did talk a little bit about the Facebook algorithm, so I'll just skip that one.
Wow, Hannah, that was awesome. Tons of good little nuggets. And I love the idea of hiding those little hashtags in your stories. That's genius. Okay, so when it comes to doing this business, there are many successful people who have gone before us. And life will be a lot easier for us if we just follow in their footsteps, if we walk the path that they've already trod for us. And so one key thing is the wheel works. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. And yes, there'll be certain things that you want to tweak to your own personality, but they're really, as we're building our business, we don't need to be reinventing things or designing things or coming up with new ideas. We really just have to, repeat the same steps that we've been doing all the way along that the people before us have done. And so it's easy to learn from those people. We can use their content. We can share some of their photos, or we can read their posts and get some ideas on how we can write our own post. We learn from other people's mistakes. If we'll actually listen to the wisdom of the people who've gone before us, we won't make a lot of the same mistakes that they made. And there's a lot of wealth in wisdom and in experience. And if we can learn from them and not have to make those mistakes ourselves, we're going to be better off. We can use people's photos. Education is provided, and it's important to plug your new members into these groups, into classes, into content, so that they are learning, so they are connecting, and so that they find the community that they're looking for. And in the long run, we will save ourselves a lot of time and energy. And I think we all feel the same way, that we don't have tons of time or tons of extra time or tons of extra energy. So the purpose of these IPAs is we want to use the time that we have as efficiently as possible and conserve the energy that we have. Because a lot of us, as we're building this business, we're doing other work on the side. We are busy people. Some of us have other jobs outside of the home. Some of us are homeschooling our kids. Some of us are juggling many hats at the same time. And so it's important that when we do find the time to dedicate to this business a little consistently every single day, we want to be effective with the time that we have, and we'll see results. So one important thing when it comes to sharing with new members and prospects is how to share your link. So if you have your phone with you, which many of you do, I'm going to show you how to find your member number and how to find your link to share with a new person. And the purpose of having this link is, I'm going to show you how to get there, but then you just text that or email it to a prospect, and it'll take them to a page on the Young Living website that says become a member. and they will already be connected to your team. Now, when you first enroll somebody, you have 7 days to move them to a different spot in your organization under somebody else if you want. So we're going to just go through how to find your member number and how to find the link. And so I want to take your phone and go with me to youngliving.com. This will be fun. We have a little assignment. Okay, so when you log into your website, we're going to go to virtual office and we are going to scroll down to my organization. That's where we're going to start.
Hang on, I haven't logged in yet.
Oh.
The new virtual office like logs me out every time.
I know, me too.
So I have to always log in.
Feel free to unmute your mics if you guys have comments or things you want to say. Okay, so if you're in, we're going to go to my organization and full view. And this is where you're going to find your member number. So you'll see your name there and then member ID just to the right. So we're going to just hold our finger down on your member number and that's going to copy your number for you. We're going to hit, or it'll highlight it. Then you hit copy. Then we're going to hit the back arrow. We're then going to click on the virtual office summary button again, and we're going to scroll down to member resources. And you'll see it here in the picture, step number 2, member resources. Then you're going to click on step 3 there, says link builder. So you're going to see a screen come up here that already has your member number highlighted. You're going to choose the country. If the person's in Canada, great, it's already set for you. If they're in the United States, you have to change the country. If they're in another country, then you got to change it. Choose the language and the membership type. Most people are distributor. You don't really, I've never had to change that. So then you're going to see this HTTPS, www, Young Living. I want you to hold your thumb down on that or your finger, and you're going to copy or highlight this whole address all the way to the end. And then you're going to copy it. That is your link. When you're texting somebody or emailing somebody, you simply paste that into your message. And when they click that link, it's going to take them to become a member with Young Living on your team. And so that's a really helpful skill to have when it comes to sharing with new people, getting them to start it on your team. It's a good thing to practice.
One thing I also, I don't want to confuse anybody by adding to this, but I do this a lot for members on my team. As soon as somebody enrolls, I always send them their link. And so I'm like, hey, just, you know, when you start using your oils and talking about them, your friends and family are going to want some. So when they do, here's your link to send to them so that they can enroll with you. And so I'll actually copy their member number from the virtual office, swap it out with mine in the link builder, and I'll create a link for them with their specific member numbers put in those spots. And so I just send that to them that way. As soon as they sign up, they have their link. They already have that ability to turn around and share with someone else the same way that I shared with them. So I don't want that to like confuse or overwhelm anybody. As soon as you click link builder, your member number is what's going to pop in there first, but then you can change it and swap it out for other people's member numbers too.
Good point. Yep.
Okay. So is this me? Yes. I think this is the last page. So one thing I want you to think about when you are doing IPA'S is who can benefit from this company. So this company offers 3 different angles. It's wellness, purpose, and abundance. And so some people might need the wellness. They might need the toxins out of their home. Well, everybody does. But they might be actually looking or have a specific need in that arena. Or somebody might just be lacking purpose or fulfillment in their life. Or somebody might actually need the finances that this business can bring. And so when you are reaching out to people and connecting with them on Facebook or in person and that sort of thing, just constantly have that in your mind. Like, who can benefit from this? Who needs this? Obviously, it's everybody, but there will be specific people on your heart to reach out to. And then once you build that relationship with them and connect with them and enroll them, plugging them into our community, plugging them into our education and resources and all those things would hopefully help bring about wellness, purpose, or abundance for them, or all three of those things for them. And then that's it. Like, literally, this business is doing those things, like connecting with people, serving them, finding their needs, helping like see how Young Living can fulfill those needs, plugging them in, and then training them to turn around and do the same thing. And then you rinse and repeat. And so I don't even necessarily like the word train there. I didn't know what else to say, but just empowering people to share passionately the way that you share passionately, to share the way Young Living has impacted you with them will give them the permission to turn around and share how Young Living has impacted them with other people. And that's how you grow this business and how you grow this community. You just love people, serve people, train them to do the same thing, and then keep doing it over and over and over infinity. Yeah, so I think that's the last slide, actually. It is. Okay. So I want to thank everybody for hopping on this call and learning about IPAs. I hope that you grabbed some nuggets from here, or some tips or ideas, or some type of inspiration or anything like that. Yeah, we'll end this recording and then we'll just open it up if you guys have questions or comments or things. So thank you so much for joining and hopping on with us and learning with us tonight. We love and appreciate you guys and really value your time. And thank you for joining us.